Hi, and welcome back to Spiritualista. This is a pick a card tarot reading for the theme of the hidden opportunity in your struggle. So, in this reading, I'm going to be looking into something that might be evolving in your life right now, and that is related to something that you have been carrying for a while that is maybe a little bit heavier. And let's see what's shaping underneath the surface of that heavier topic, right? So, what is the benefit of this struggle? Because sometimes struggle isn't here to block us. It's not here to just make our lives miserable, but it's more here to redirect us into a new, better, and improved situation. So that's the energy that we're going to be working with today. So there are 3 piles here in front of you today, and each pile follows the same 8 questions. Okay, so they explore the core of your struggle, the weight that you've been carrying from the struggle, what it's asking you to face, what opportunities coming through from that struggle. And we're also going to be looking at how this experience is reshaping you and how you can work with it more consciously through a little oracle card here in the end with an affirmation for you, okay? So before choosing a pile, just take a moment to settle into your body. So take a deep breath and just notice which one here draws your attention the most, or maybe see which image here pulls your attention to. And we also have a crystal here at the top of each pile representing a specific chakra. So clear quartz crystal here is for the third eye chakra. The green aventurine is for the heart chakra, and the lapis lazuli is for the crown chakra. So maybe you want to work with a specific chakra, or maybe you like the images that you see, or maybe you're drawn to one of the piles just instinctively. And once you've chosen your pile, there are timestamps to your reading down below in the comment section as well as in the video description. So and that way you can just jump straight to your reading. And also if you feel drawn to several piles, that is okay. So in that case, just go to the timestamps and see all of the piles that you feel the most drawn to today, okay? So I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. So if you chose this clear quartz little crystal here, this is for the third eye chakra, or perhaps if you chose this abstract image here of the flowers and the colorful swirls, hopefully this reading will be resonating with you today. Let me just put them actually here, I think is a good place for them today. So let's get started. I'm gonna just take your little oracle card to the side. We're gonna be looking at that one right at the end of the reading for your little affirmation. Well, let's start laying out your card. So we have 8 questions today for you, the same as we always do with the 8-question format. If you haven't seen one of my readings before, is that I tune into each card at a time. We don't work with reversals because for me personally, I feel that it becomes like an abundance of cards. We can normally get a lot of messages through just by tuning into each card specifically without having the interference of the rest of the spread just turn towards me. So in the end of the reading, I'm gonna be having all the cards turned upright, and in that sense we're gonna be seeing the full story here. So 1 card for 1 question, and we have 8 questions to work with here in total. So let me just do a little bit of adjustment here with the camera. Perfect. So let's get into question number 1. And that is, what is the core energy of the struggle that you're currently moving through? And we have the Page of Cups. Yeah, okay. So at the core of the Page of Cups energy itself of the card, right? It's emotional openness. That's what it represents. So I feel like that's something that, in your case, feeling this openness here feels kind of unfamiliar or like unprotected almost. So this is a sensitive card, right? It's a very water-based, very emotional card. So it's new feelings, it's a part of you that's learning how to express your feelings, express emotions, be vulnerable, show sensitivity. So this is a part of you that really is vulnerable or shows emotion, talks about emotion. So it shows sensitivity, bonds with people over those deeper topics. And I feel like part of you is really learning how to express that and how to tune into that side of you. And especially without knowing how it's going to be received by other people, and if you're going to be judged for that, if it's something that you're going to have a problem with, so you might have had a struggle with this in the past, or this, it doesn't feel like a big hardship, to be honest, this card, just looking at it here. But it's at the same time, you do have to learn how to do that. That's what I'm feeling here. It's about allowing yourself to feel very honestly and to express that, even if it feels awkward, even if you feel shy, even if you don't know how the person's gonna feel about you, and you feel like you have to filter yourself, right? You feel vulnerable, you feel like, you're opening up something that you won't be able to close down, and you might regret it, so I feel like you are moving through a phase here where your own responses or emotional responses, right, are a little bit weaker than usual. So that can feel a little bit destabilizing if you're used to being more contained or more self-controlled as a person here. So yeah, I feel like this struggle is really about being emotional or being emotionally present, especially in your relationships and your connections here, while still learning that it is okay to keep some stuff to yourself, and finding that balance here. Because, like, I'm not sensing that it's bad. Again, you're not doing anything wrong here, okay? But you're just learning how to listen to yourself in a different way, like in a new way, and being more vulnerable and being more open, okay? So that's what I'm sensing from that one. It's all about that. It's all about you really learning how to express more vulnerability and being okay with carrying your heart a little bit on your sleeve, and just, yeah, that's human. That's human. And that's the thing. I feel like you are very composed as a person, or yeah, contained as a person. So it's not something that you're super used to here in that sense. And so let's move on to question 2 for a little bit more context here. And that is, what emotional weight or theme has the struggle been carrying for you? The 6 of Pentacles, yeah. That does make sense. Because that's again about balance, so that's a card that comes up when we start questioning around like giving and receiving and how those dynamics work with people, or how much effort someone is putting in, either you or the other person, and if that's being returned, if you're being met with the same energy by this other individual, or if they are being met by you with the same energy. So especially if you have been a little bit more contained, there might have been issues with that. But also it might have been the other way too, or you have been having this feeling that you do give more than what you get from someone here, and that you're unsure whether that support is really mutual, So the issue with that, when we do that, is that over time, what happens, like, it does build resentment, and it does build self-doubt that you feel about yourself, where you have to just constantly check and monitor for if things are fair, like if things are even. So there is an issue with that. And that is the problem here, where part of you has been really learning that you deserve more without needing to overextend to earn that from someone here. So it's going to go both ways. And even if you are the one that is more emotionally unavailable, or if you're the one that has the anxious attachment here, it's all about really noticing where that energy is flowing more evenly and where it's not flowing at all, and it's just kind of like, yeah, you're facing a wall there, and it's just not the same resonance. It's not balanced, the give and take. So this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you to process, is what I'm sensing here. But at the same time, once you do so, it's going to be very clarifying, and you're going to understand better what you need to do, or what you have needed to do for a long time here when you finally heal this out. So for the next question, we have, what is the struggle asking you to confront or acknowledge? And we have the 6 of Wands there. Okay, so that's visibility, right? And that's like success. It's a success, like being on stage, like an artist card, celebrity card. So yeah, it's about confidence, and recognition, where you are okay with being seen, you are okay with owning what you have achieved. So you might be a person that gets a little bit uncomfortable with that, or uncomfortable with attention, and you're really unsure how to hold that confidence without feeling exposed, or feeling like you're being a bit of an ego person doing that. You're judging yourself for doing that, for taking up space. So likely part of the struggle here comes from you minimizing yourself and just downplaying yourself and downplaying your progress. And even if you do something that is successful, then you kind of like, no, but it just kind of happened. I didn't put much time into that. I know it was just lucky and stuff like that. And you kind of minimize yourself. So now with this one here, what you need to confront is that you've already come way further than you think. And you are successful. You do have things about you that you have created that you should be proud of. That is not bragging. That is not ego. That's just you supporting yourself. That's you loving yourself and seeing your worth and just recognizing yourself for that, So the message here is about that. It's like self-recognition, right? Where you are being asked by the universe to just let yourself be seen for your achievements, even if that brings that vulnerability here with that. Start working on feeling that you do deserve this, that you do deserve the space, right? You do deserve the spotlight energy here, and that's going to be really helpful to you. And for question 4, we have, what part of yourself has been suppressed or overlooked through this experience? And we've got the 10 of Wands there. Okay, so yeah, like this is a need for rest, right? So I feel like you're overlooking something to do with just like delegating tasks. So you have a tendency here to carry a lot on your own, or carry a lot of responsibility on your own. And even if it becomes heavy, you kind of don't ask for help. You don't really share that with people, because that's, again, vulnerability. You're having to open up about you not being okay to something. I feel like you are very lagom as a person. I use this word a lot because I'm from Sweden. So I would like for every language to have this word because it's such a convenient word. So in Swedish, we call it lagom when it's something that is like Goldilocks, right? It's right in between. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too sweet, it's not too salty. It's just like lukewarm, you know, in a good way. So that's the thing. You're trying to be that like sort of midpoint energy where you don't brag, you don't go like big ass ego, like look at me, this is what I did, you know, you do something and you're just expecting to get likes or expecting to get validation from that. But at the same time, when you have problems and you have issues and you have a lot of things that are leading into a burnout energy or a sad energy or like any sort of energy that is more like negatively loaded, you don't want to share that either because that's again vulnerability. So you're kind of just like, you're fine. I'm sensing that you like your energy. If you've played The Sims, like they have moodlets, right? And there's this moodlet that is just like gray, like it's just fine. Otherwise, they can be like happy, excited, embarrassed, you know, sad, angry, and then there's just fine, which is just the baseline emotion. So I'm sensing that you're always trying to be in that fine state, and everybody like asks you, how are you doing? You're like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. So I'm hearing that a lot, just fine, fine, fine. And that's the thing. So even if you are carrying like all these boxes and it's like really heavy, it's breaking your back, you just want to put them down, you want someone to help you out, you know, that would really alleviate your process here. You're kind of like, no, I'm fine, you know, I don't need help, you know. So that's the issue here with this card, like where you might have suppressed your own limits in order to just keep going and just meet other people's expectations that they have on you because you're always fine and they expect you to be fine because that's what you always share about yourself. So you're just pushing through. And even if you're tired, you're fatigued, you know, you just still feel responsible for outcomes. So even if they're not fully yours, and that's leading you to this place here where I feel like part of you really needs that support and you've been setting that aside because, you know, you just feel like it's risky to ask for help, or maybe like it feels impractical. Maybe you think that you can handle it alone. Maybe you think that you could do a better job if you didn't ask for help. You know, you just don't feel like explaining how the task is supposed to be done. So it could be a part of that too. But I'm sensing that, you know, just it's an overload energy. It's an overload. So both emotional, but also could be physically here. So just look at what you're carrying here. That is more than you need to carry alone. And then just start distributing that a little bit more evenly and better with people. You know, lagom, create that lagom energy with this as well. And now let's move on to question 5. And that is, what opportunity is forming beneath the surface of the struggle? 3 of Cups. That's a beautiful card. That's a nice energy. Like, that's reconnection, right? So this is you getting support, right? This is you sharing things with people, both bad and good things, right? So this is you sharing joy and happiness and fun moments and just humor and jokes, you know, but at the same time, like getting relief by things that like, yeah, I'm not really handling this well alone, right? I need to talk about this, and then you share that as well. So what happens then? Yeah, you get friends, right? You get people that are close to you, that trust you, that you can trust, that you can rely on, because you are being more yourself in all aspects of the spectrum, not just the middle one, the midpoint of the spectrum. You can be here, and it's fine because it's just that diversity of human that you are, right? And that's what people are seeing, and that's how you're going to have that opportunity forming of getting better and deeper connections with people around you. So you don't have to be alone here, you know, and I feel like you have been. So there is space here for that collaboration, for that friendship to happen, right? Where I feel like the first step is you being able to be more emotional, right? And then you're going to be met emotionally in a way that's going to be feeling like way lighter than this experience that you're having here. So just clear some room for that, you know, and I feel like that's going to feel really nice. It's going to feel very positive as an energy because, like, these people are going to see you. So you just got to be okay with that, right? With the 6 of Wands, just let yourself be seen and let yourself be supported, and that's going to be helpful. So just let other people in, basically, okay? And just allow this connection to just release some of this weight that you've been carrying alone, and that they can remind you that also, like, you are worthy of things, right? You are worthy of just coexisting with them and just growing with them and just growing within yourself, and that you are adaptable, that you are a great person, you know, you can do things that are really admirable. And just to hear that from other people, to get that feedback, I feel like it's really going to strengthen you. So just release a little bit of that resistance. Like, that's the first step. And then you're going to notice how things are going to get easier, especially when it comes to connecting with others here. Both in relationships, like partners, like romantic partners, but also in friendships here with the 3 of Cups. And now let's move on to question 6, and that is, how is the struggle reshaping you in ways that you'll later be grateful for? Oh, so speaking of romantic connections there, we got the Lovers. Nice. So I feel like This is about love, right? It's about you allowing yourself to be yourself again, and that's going to open you up for better connections, like more mutual connections, again, with the balance here, with the distribution of give and take, right? At the same time, you are being more authentic. You are being more, like generous in the way that you share. And in turn, what's going to happen? You're going to meet someone that is aligned with you. Because, I mean, energy does the work for you, basically, right? You can be walking down the street and you're going to meet someone and you're going to understand that, wow, this person is basically my soulmate. Like, we have so much in common because we can talk about these things and we can notice things about each other that are like, wow, oh my God, I have had the same experience. Oh my God, I had the same childhood. Oh my dad does also that, And it's just that thing, that mutuality. But if you don't share about yourself, right? If you don't open up, both about your feelings, but your process, your projects, your creations, your endeavors, what's going to happen? You're never going to know if this person has something in common with you because you don't share. So once you start doing that and you start like really opening up, then you might meet someone here that really you feel that attraction to. They feel that attraction to you because then you know that you are supposed to be with each other, that you do have a lot of things in common, that you do get along, that you have a lot of things to talk about, that they can help you out, that you can be receptive to accepting their help. And also this is about alignment, right? It's about choice, it's about alignment, it's about love. So I feel like you are having a shift here towards just making decisions that, they do reflect your value, and also at the same time, like your expectations, your obligations, right? So you're going to be learning how to notice where your heart is actually engaged, right? And where you've been just saying yes to things out of habit or out of pressure because people expect that from you. So that awareness is going to change how you relate to your commitments and to your connections, both with others, but also with yourself, which I feel is the main one here. So later on, once you've done that, you're going to feel more grateful because this experience here really forced you to just slow down and just choose more consciously your own things that you need to decide about. And it's going to be helping you understand what feels good to you, like what feels authentic to you, what feels aligned with you versus what simply just keeps things moving because they always have, right? So just refine your ability to choose your connections that feel very mutual and that feel very true to you and align with you, and just like soulmatey, even if it's a friend thing, like you can still be friends and soulmates, right? So that's going to help you build a foundation that you can really trust going forward from this. And for question 7, we have what new strength or self-trust is being developed right now? And we've got the star. Nice. So, I mean, this is healing, right? But I'm sensing like a strong energy today from this. It's like almost like the strength card with the lion, right? So that is what you're getting here. You're getting the strength that's developed here through this experience where, like it's your ability to stay open even after you get disappointed, even after you're super exhausted, super drained, you can still trust that you're going to get that healing, right? So I feel like you're learning how to believe in your own process and just trust in the universe without needing proof, like from the physical, right? So more from yourself, and from your inner, where it's just steady. It's like a steady stream of downloads and just like knowings where it's like, I'm going to be okay, right? Like the thing, like I'm fine, like it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But then you don't have to force that. You don't have to be just like constantly mantraing that to yourself because just you want to feel fine, but you don't really, like deep down you don't. And it's kind of like, like this forced thing that you're making, right? But it's going to be a steady thing. So you're going to be really learning how to have hope, like in that more grounded way, right? And just having lots of faith that you are going to be in a better place. You are always being led towards a new, more positive direction here. So that is the strength that I'm sensing here that's being formed in this resilience here that you have had with the 10 of Wands here. And you're going to learn that you don't have to keep doing this and just, hardening yourself just to keep going, And let's finish off with question 8, and that is, how can you consciously work with this opportunity instead of resisting it? Oh my goodness, see, the sun. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful, beautiful energy. So I feel like, okay, so this is all about clarity, right? It's about like transparency and seeing things for what they are, right? Like the sun just illuminates things. You can see the road ahead of you. It's not dark. You don't have to navigate by the moon, So that's the energy where when you bring things out into the open, instead of just keeping them internally and just unresolved, then progress is going to happen. And then as it happens, your life is going to just give you more moments of ease and you're going to feel more confident about yourself. So I feel like the advice here is to just like stay engaged with what gives you that energy, like that life force, that happiness, right? That spark. And just pay attention to the things that are good for you instead of the things that are draining you. And just let those things guide your choices here. And working with this opportunity looks like really letting yourself enjoy your own growth, right? Enjoy your own process, even if it is hard at times, right? Because it's still unfolding, it's still happening. So you're still learning from this. So there's nothing to be really like, this is a bad thing, like this is a negative thing, you know, I hate being here. I hate this part of my life. I hate this era, right? No, just like understand that you are under evolution. You are in those birth pains right now, right? The contractions. So it's fine. Like you're going to release, you're going to get your reward, like the baby, you're going to get the reward. So just let life move through you naturally, right? Instead of feeling that life is heavy, life is a burden, you know, and that's going to make you feel that warmth here. That's going to make you feel that happiness in a more easy way, in a more honest way, where you start really feeling that within yourself. You don't have to, again, force that or be like a super toxic positive person that just like, yeah, no, but it's all good, right? But it's going to be like a internal feeling, right? It's not going to be like a conceptual feeling, but it's going to be like an inner knowing that you have day by day. As you move through your life, you're going to have that and feel that. So that's how it gets easier. And so let's move on to your oracle card. We've got beautiful color. So I celebrate my progress. Awareness, not perfection, is the goal. I celebrate my progress. Awareness, not perfection, is the goal. So just seeing this here, I feel like you might be a Virgo, or you might have a strong like Virgo chart, especially like Mars and Virgo, if this is about how this carrying a lot of things and this like perfectionist energy is coming from work. Could be that there's a Mars and Virgo involved in a picture there. So this really ties into your reading, you know, where I feel like you have been trying to fix yourself a lot and just like reaching some final version of yourself here that is going to be enough for you. And now you're becoming more aware of how you move and how you give, right? And how you choose things with the lovers, like how you respond to things, how you open up about yourself. So I feel that celebrating progress here really doesn't mean just like ignoring all your difficulties. Again, like bypassing this, like I said, with this toxic positivity here, right? But just recognize that this growth is already happening, even if it does feel sort of uneven and like slow or like back and forwards, like 2 steps front, like how do you call it? Like 2 steps front, 1 step back, right? Because it's still like you're still going to be gaining 1 step every time. So you're still making a progress, like a movement towards that direction and not back, right? So I feel like it's all about awareness. It's just showing up again and again and again and again, where you're really learning how to notice those imbalances, right? Notice the like emotional overload or emotional suppression that you do here, where you're suppressing your needs, you know. It's like, I feel like here, like noticing is really going to be the work for you, okay? It's like nothing needs to be forced beyond that. Just like look at it, just pay attention to it, but just like you don't have to put a label on it. You don't have to define it as bad or good, right? It's something that like meditation, where you see the clouds, like pretend that your thoughts are clouds, right? Just observe the clouds floating by. Just have awareness, just notice, like you notice your breath, right? So it's that energy here. You don't have to chase this or sort of like work towards it anyway, but just start there. Start by having that awareness, right? That is what awareness is. Because I feel like perfection here is really going to make you stuck in this effort mode here of the Ten of Wands here. And just like awareness here is going to allow for this connection to happen, right? And that's going to make you just release a little bit of pressure and feel more aligned here with the sun, with this happiness of the sun here. So just pause and just acknowledge yourself exactly where you are right now, okay? Because you're not behind, you're not wrong, you know, you're not stagnated, you're not a bad person, you're not full of flaws, but like you're in progress, okay? You're under construction, and be fine with that. Just have awareness of that and be fine with that. That's exactly where you are, and it's perfect. Like divine timing wise, it is absolutely perfect. So there's that, you know, and I feel like working with this opportunity really is going to help you let the light in, where you usually just push harder and harder and harder. So just allow yourself to feel seen, especially by yourself, right? And that in turn is going to help you open up to having more support, and just you're going to feel more human, is what I'm sensing. And people are going to feel that you're more human as well, you know, and that's going to make you connect better, because they're going to be seeing that as you grow, and they're going to support your growth in that. So that is your reading, guys. And if this pile resonated, then just know that you don't have to just earn your things, okay? Or earn recognition, or earn when to rest, when to put the things down, but you are allowed to just notice where you are and how far you've come, and that you're still moving ahead, but you don't have to hurry it, you don't have to stress it, you know. It's fine. You're exactly as you are, and that's perfect, okay? So just take that with you And if you enjoyed this reading, make sure to like this video. Also, if you want to leave a comment, that always helps with engagement and makes the channel grow a little bit bigger every time, makes other people be able to find these readings as well. So that's always very appreciated, both for me, of course, but also for the collective. And also, of course, if you want to see more of these, I do post them weekly, so make sure to hit the subscribe button just to be able to come back to the channel anytime, okay? And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye! Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. So if you chose this green aventurine for the heart chakra today, or if you chose this howdy image here, and a little smiley, then hopefully this reading will be resonating with you today. So let me start preparing your cards. As I always say, this is your oracle card that we're going to be looking at right at the end of the reading, containing one affirmation for you that is specific for exactly this reading here today. So these are the 8 cards that we're going to be working with, representing 8 different questions that I'm going to be asking the tarot and spirit today in regards to your situation and what is the lesson that is embedded in your struggle right now. So I didn't say them in the intro, but you had a little bit of a spoiler there as to what the questions are going to be. So let's start off with question number 1 here. And that is, what is the core energy of the struggle you're currently moving through? And I like to ask this question first, just so that you can see if this is the right reading for you, if it resonates with you. Otherwise, if you have been feeling pulled towards another pile, that might be an indicator. So this one here is the 3 of Pentacles. So that is a collaboration card, collaboration energy, right? So that is a struggle topic, so to speak. So it's about building things, and you're having an issue with that. Rather than like things falling apart, it's more that like you're trying to build things with other people. And yeah, there's something here about you having to learn to work with other people, right? Or just showing up in like shared spaces, could be work, or contributing your energy to other people without sort of losing yourself in that process of doing so, right? And being able to be yourself still. So there's something with that. It's just like, yeah, collaboration, whether that's with people, with systems, institutions, work, could be in your relationships, where you might be asking yourself if you're doing enough, right? If you're being seen for who you are, for your value, right? If you need to maybe work harder to prove yourself to someone here, and just that. So that can be a little bit exhausting, because 3 of Pentacles usually brings in this feeling just of being observed, right? And sort of evaluated by people. They're kind of judging you for this. So there's something here about like eggshell walking, like tiptoe walking about a situation here. I feel that for most of you, it's going to be in your workplace. This is happening. So it feels like your effort really matters in this specific situation. And it's like you're not being met with that level of respect that you actually deserve by some person there, or some people within that structure, right? So the struggle here is really about learning where your role ends, or like where your responsibility ends, right? And where other people need to meet you halfway and just allow you to be there and just be yourself, just exist in that space, without that being a problem. So I feel that the core energy in the struggle is just really learning how to be valued for your skills, basically, and for who you are and your own presence, right? Your own contribution to the system here. So without like over-giving or over-proving yourself, or just sort of like making yourself invisible, making yourself in the background, suppressing yourself, hiding yourself. So if you've been feeling that, and like this is something that is going on, especially I feel for some of you, if you are in a new career, new workplace where you don't feel really comfortable right now, especially if it's something very different from works that you've had before and you're quite new into the structure. Could even be school, actually. Like could be that if you're younger, like maybe you started a new class, new classmates, and this is something that, yeah, is happening there. It's kind of hard to find your group. And that's the thing that's setting you up for the opportunity here that, yeah, we're going to be revealing what that is. So let's move on to question 2. And that is, what emotional weight or theme has the struggle been carrying for you? We got the 10 of Pentacles there. Okay, so good. Okay. Yeah, like, yeah, it's a card of abundance, right? It's a card about especially financial abundance or material goods, like being secure, being safe in your finances, in your work life. Like, so very related to this, like it's both Pentacles. So yeah, it's definitely something here with stability or building that security for yourself, like feeling safe in the environment that you're in. So there is a concern here about the future, right? And about belonging, especially with this theme here. So yeah, I feel like you have this fear of just disrupting something here that it looks stable on the outside, people looking at that in like, but on the inside, like, it's like you don't feel at home really, And I feel that the pressure is coming from you not knowing if that's sustainable for you to keep doing long term. Like if you should change yourself, right? Or if you should change out of that structure entirely and just try something else. But I feel like you are safe. It's likely something that like I'm getting more and more that it's a job situation here. So If it's that, it does make perfect sense, because then in that case, of course, you're getting paid, right? You have your contract. It might be something that is like you've signed it so that it's going to be for like a year, and now you're finally secure, but at the same time there is like the insecurity of not belonging in that space or not feeling at home in that space. So that's the thing that I'm sensing for most of you, that it's going to be about work. It could be family, like it could be a home situation too, but it's like, in that case, I feel that it involves more people. Like it would be a family, not just like one partner that you're having issues with, but like a family structure here that has a lot of expectations. It's the same energy, right? It's just like pressure and just responsibilities, and just like you're having this fear of being disruptive of that, you know? And it feels a lot like you feel like your choices affect more than just you, right? Which adds even more weight to whatever decision that you're going to make. So the struggler is really asking you to consider what kind of stability actually supports you, right? If it's financial, then yeah, sure, it's fine. It's coming into your bank account every month, but at the same time, like emotionally, like friendship-wise or family-wise, it's tricky. And that's the thing, right? Not all long-term structures are meant to be maintained forever. And sometimes you have to like put the foot down, set the foot down, right? It's just like enough is enough. And I'm sensing more and more that it's something here that is off, like it's off. So let's move on to question 3, and that is, what is the struggle asking you to confront or acknowledge? Oh my goodness, I don't know why this is happening. Queen of Cups there. See, this is emotions, like I said. So yeah, like for sure, you have a very deep sensitivity, okay? And there's a lot of emotional awareness that you have within you, like innately already, probably always had, that has been guiding you in this. So you're being asked to confront how much you actually feel and how often you should hold space for other people, you know, or how often you do that. So just notice where your compassion is turning into another responsibility, another labor, where you're the one that always has to be that supportive role, right? You're the one that always has to be sort of that wall that people just throw things at, you know, and that's just your job. That's just embedded in you as your role, even like as a caretaker, family member, career. So you seem to have that like almost like a free psychologist role for people here. So there could be a lot of just like, what is the word? Like it's not unwinding. Like decompressing sort of energy, where people come out and they just throw things at you. They have their issues, they have their struggles, their low frequency, and you kind of just absorb that, because venting, that's the word. So they kind of like vent that, and you have the presence of a person that just is the one that is vented towards. And that could be a lot of things to deal with, especially if you already have your own things, right? And you're already like, your cup is already sort of like empty, and then it gets more and more and more, and you just become like this like really drained person from this. So you have to really look at where your own needs, especially emotional needs, have in place second to just keeping this peace and like supporting people around you, right? So just be honest about that. And where you find those traits of being like self-sacrificing in any way, just care for yourself, you know, with the same energy that you have for other people, that you care outwardly, like invest that in yourself, like in equal measures. And I feel that that's going to balance you out a little bit here. So let's move on to question 4, and that is, what part of yourself has been suppressed or overlooked through this experience? Temperance. That's moderation, right? So that's just like finding a pacing that really supports you, yourself, like your well-being, right? Your integration energy that you need to have every once in a while when you go through these lessons, right? So you're likely just adjusting yourself a lot, either in one direction or the other, just to keep things working here. So just like over adapting, so it's like a very chameleon strong energy from you, where you're constantly like, should I say this in front of this person? Maybe you have this person that you say in front, and with this person you can't really be yourself. Like again, especially at work, and you're kind of like being more quiet in the background, just not expressive, and that's making you feel pressure here. So it's just gonna keep building. Like this tension is just gonna come more and more and more internally, you know. So there's a part of you that really needs to give yourself space to exist in the scene as well, you know. You don't have to be all in, like of course. You don't have to be extremely open about everything you do, every single flaw that you have, right? But at the same time, you need to allow space for you to exist a little bit more in the picture. Just show a little bit more personality, and be okay with that, you know? And if they judge you, they're just not your people. And also I'm feeling that like there's a part of you that knows how to move more slowly here and more like sort of sustainable, that also doesn't get enough space here. So just instead of honoring your own natural rhythm and how you do things and your own pacing, right? You're likely just, again, trying to meet expectations that are coming in like externally to you. So recalibrate, you know, that's the energy of temperance. Just like, that's the importance here. And I feel like you have to find some balance. Like that has to really be restored so that you can function again without straining yourself here. And then for question 5, we have what opportunity is forming beneath the surface of this struggle? We've got the 5 of Pentacles, which is not a, like, it's a weird card to see there, to be honest. Like it's as an opportunity card, right? So we have to think of it like almost in reverse. Because like 5 of Pentacles is all that we've been talking about. It's not feeling supported, right? So that's the thing. Like you got to just redefine support. That's the opportunity, where there has been moments where you have been feeling excluded here or like unsupported, right? So just, yeah, like feeling alone. I'm sensing that a lot. There's like this very strong loner energy going on for you here. And of course, like that's super heavy. I get that, you know. That's the thing. But as an opportunity, like this card, it's sharpening your awareness of what real support actually looks like, right? So you're learning to know the difference between being surrounded by people all the time and not being alone and just having people like pull at you in different directions, which I feel is the thing that you do, to just be supported, just receiving that support, right? So just, for example, ask for help, right? In ways that you haven't really allowed yourself to do before, right? And just recognize where support is unavailable, because it is going to be unavailable in some cases in some people here, and then just stop seeking it there. You know, it's not for you in that case. Just go somewhere else. In the same way, right, that I was explaining to you before, that like sometimes you're drained and then someone comes in and vents. In that case, like their perception should notice that you're not the right one to give them that support right now, right? We all have phases. Like we all are there sometimes where we can't, we don't have enough within us, or we're not connected enough in order to channel out that advice that is the right thing to the other person to hear at that moment in time when they seek that, right? And so there is going to be somewhere else that they could go to find that. Sometimes it's not our responsibility. And the same thing goes for you, where if you have this person and maybe they're the only person that you normally turn to, and now they are in a space where they don't feel like they can say the right thing, or they don't have it in them right now because of their own things that they're dealing with, right? Then it's time for you to just look beyond that and try to find that somewhere else, or maybe even within yourself for a moment, and just being okay with that. So what's really forming here is that discernment to know that, right? Both for you, but then as you look for that in other people as well, and just knowing where to invest your vulnerability and just allow yourself to conserve your energy sometimes when other people are trying to reach out to you. And that's going to build a stronger foundation for you moving forward from this. Now let's move on to question 6. That is, how is the struggle reshaping you in ways you'll later be grateful for? Knight of Cups. Nice. Yeah, like that's like how you relate to your own truth. That is emotional truth, right? So I feel like you are going through a shift towards expressing your feelings more sort of intentionally, rather than just, suppressing them in order to just not make waves, right? Maintain like the harmony, not have people judge you, not have people see you as a person that is weak for doing that. So I'm sensing a lot of relatability here to pile 1. So if you have been feeling pulled towards that pile in the intro, then that might be a pile for you as well. But like, instead of absorbing everything around you, I feel that you're starting to choose, right? How and what and where you're going to offer yourself to other people. And that's the thing, right? So later on, you'll likely feel very grateful that this experience just taught you how to take your emotions seriously, right? And just know where to direct that energy. So it's going to help you align your actions with how you actually feel, and not how you think that you should feel, or how you think that other people would like you to feel, right? So that their perception of you doesn't change. So that's you having that agency, right? Just like learning how to move towards what resonates instead of just staying where you are or where you've been tolerated, because, again, you don't want to make waves. And for question 7, we have, what new strength or self-trust is being developed right now? Oh, the Tower. So another one that is kind of like weird. Like, that's disruption energy, okay? So that's the thing. Like, Tower is always an old structure that's falling too, so that something else that is better can take shape in its old place, right? So that's something that's happening here, right? Where any old structure or sort of belief system that you had before, it's gonna fall, right? Or any sort of like these sort of strategies that you're doing with your emotions here when you're navigating people and talking to people and engaging and being like, how much open should I be in this group versus like group A and group B? And in this place specifically, I always have to hide myself. Like, that's fallen away. That's fallen away. And it's not going to support you like in the person that you are becoming. And that's why it's having to fall away. So this is the strength, it's just ability to just be able to be yourself and like survive that and be okay with that, because that's the truth, right? So that is something that will need to come out. And it's going to be good for you, and you're going to realize when you are in that era that what used to feel safe in this sort of suppression energy here, right, it was actually really limiting to you, right? It just made you misalign because you weren't able to live your life as yourself, as you are. So even when that falls away, which it needs to, you're going to remain intact. So that's the thing, because you're you. Your center is still there. Your center is still you. So that's going to be there. That doesn't leave you. So just have trust in yourself and just have trust in your resilience to go through this wave here, this tower wave, which is, yeah, like it is a little bit scary because we're losing something that we think is our identity, but the real identity is what's underneath that. So when that falls away, like, or breaks free, I'm sensing like an egg, like a chicken egg, right? So there's a little chick inside of that, but you can just see the shell. And finally, when the shell breaks open, the little chick, it's there, like it comes out, right? You might see the shell as an identity, but at the same time, it's just a shell. It's just something that is protecting it, of course, as this is kind of doing right now for you. But at the same time, it is also restricting the chick. It can't really move in there. And then eventually it grows so much that it starts expanding the shell and has to break out of the shell, and then it breaks and it's born. So that's the same thing that you're going through. And you don't need that shell, right? The chicken doesn't need that shell for the rest of their life. It's just something that is temporary. So it's the same energy here. And so let's move on to question 8, and that is how you can consciously work with this opportunity instead of resisting it. And you have the 7 of Wands there. So, I mean, yeah, like just be willing to stand up for yourself. Like stand in your truth about who you are, even if that feels uncomfortable to you, because that's you. That's you. So, of course, it's going to make you feel a little bit exposed, right? It's going to make you feel like not everybody's going to get you, and somebody's going to just like not like you as they have liked you before for this sort of persona that you've had or this suppressed version of yourself that you had. So there is something here about not backing down just to keep the peace, right? That's very obvious. And just not making yourself shrink or disappear entirely just to make things easier for other people. So yeah, like you really got to protect your energy, and just protect your perspective, because you're unique and that's cool. Like you're just a human being like everybody else, and you have your own traits, you have your own personality, you have your own voice, you have your own style, right? You have your own music taste or taste in food or taste in other human beings. You have your preferences and your configurations, and that's awesome. Like everybody does. And that's what makes it so unique. So don't hide that. Don't feel that that's something that is weird just because you are maybe a more bubbly person or you have like a youthful spirit and you work in a bank, doesn't mean that you have to be all like academic and bureaucratic and boring, like gray as a person and just talk about those things, right? Just sit and talk about accountability and numbers and like retirements. Like just be you and bring something into the conversation that is different, that is unique for you. So you are right for doing that, and you're right for taking up that space, right? Especially after you already done the work to get where you are. So instead of just resisting this opportunity by just like, suppressing or over-explaining yourself, right, and doubting yourself, just choose yourself. Like that's the main goal. Like choose yourself and just be yourself, okay? So just, that's the advice here, And I feel like another thing you could do is just like set firmer boundaries, right? And just say no to people sometimes without feeling guilty. If they need your help and you can't help them out, just be okay with that. And just trust that you don't have to fight for your worth, right? And what I really love here is that this card, like, is all about self-respect, right? So just, it's about being aligned, like responding from that alignment instead of being defensive or protecting too much. So just stay rooted in what you know is true for you and who you are on the inside, right? Even if the pressure is on and you feel like, that's going to make others judge, it's okay. Let them judge, let them be okay with judging, and that's fine, and you'll be okay with being you. So let's move on to your oracle message here. We have your little card, your affirmation, and it is, I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. I love this card. I think it's super cute. It's one of the cutest cards. Let me just grab the little deck. Oh my goodness, I have so many decks. I'm trying to do this with one hand. It's not the easiest. It's from this one here, Spirit Junkie. It's really cute, by Gabrielle Bernstein. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I love this one with little eyes. So remember this one if you want to screenshot this. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. So yeah, I feel like a lot of your struggle has come from you just trying to stabilize things that aren't really in your control, to be honest, right? Especially in these like shared structures here, in these situations that you're in. So With this, just know that your power lives in that interpretation energy, right? And how you respond, right? And also, like I said, like your boundaries, but also like how you observe. Because I feel like if you are constantly looking at others, right? And you assume that this is a judgmental person, they're going to judge me. Well, it is a projection in a sense, right? Because you are actually judging them as a judgmental person. So that is the funny part about this, how it is always a projection. It's about how you perceive it. Maybe they're like the coolest person, the coolest person. And you're just scared because they have a judgmental look about them or like an aura, but it doesn't have to be the case, right? So don't be too scared. And also, again, you don't have to have everybody's approval, right? Just give yourself that. Just trust yourself, right? And that's going to help you out a lot here. So yes, guys, this is what I had for you today. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this reading. And if you enjoyed it, then you can always leave it a like. It always helps the algorithm find the video and just share it to the right people so that more people can find these. And I do post them weekly. So again, if you want to come back and see another one, then subscribe to the channel. That's always helpful too, because then you can find the channel again. And I just want to wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye! Hello, my beautiful pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So if you chose this lapis lazuli crystal for your throat chakra, or if you chose this image here with the 3 little flowers, it's a little bit blurry, but I hope you can see it, then this reading will hopefully be resonating with you today. So let's start separating your cards. We have an oracle card here for the end of the reading, just as an additional little mantra or affirmation that you can use to really integrate the message that you're going to be hearing here today. So these are your cards. I have 8 questions prepared for you today, and also 8 cards representing all the questions. So we will go slow and easy, 1 card at a time, as we do here on this channel, so that we can really extract as much information as possible from each card. And then in the end, we're going to be having them all facing up so that we can get the full picture of your situation, and then the final message there with the oracle card to integrate. So let's start off with question number 1. And that is, what is the core energy of the struggle you're currently moving through? We have this first one here, and it is the 4 of Cups. Okay, so that is disengagement, right? That's the energy of apathy or disinterest, and just like not being truly aligned with something, whether it's good or bad. You don't feel any pull. It's kind of like a neutral sort of energy, a very like 0 point gray sort of energy. So there is something here that feels a little bit numb about your energy, or like you're dissatisfied with something in your life, or many things in your life where nothing really, I always hear that song, the Beatles or Britney Spears, if you will, like I can get no satisfaction. I'm not gonna sing it now, but yeah, like it's that energy. It's that energy where whatever it is that's being offered to you doesn't really register anymore. You don't feel like it's not pulling you. So you might just feel very uninterested in things. You're not really motivated about something, right? And just like it just feels a little bit like you're disconnected, and things look fine on the surface, I feel, but at the same time, like you on the inside, you feel like it's just like you're bored, you're just kind of bored. So there's a signal here that something really doesn't meet you where you are, and it's just not enough, so yeah, I feel that the struggle with this card right in this position here is just going to be just staying present, where you feel a little bit unmoved emotionally, still maintaining that presence, right, where normally you might be questioning whether you're missing something or whether your lack of response is actually information, right? And you just kind of like, you feel that this is something wrong, so just observe that. Just be neutral and observe that. And I feel like, yeah, just pay attention to what doesn't spark that feeling, okay? Because there is going to be something here. So don't consider this a flaw just because it is in this spread, in this position, okay? First of all, I feel that that's the main thing for you. Like if you have been judging yourself for feeling this way, it might be just temporary, or it might be even like it could be like a sertraline thing, like, right, I had that medication before, where some things that you take will cause this effect in you, and it's just temporary, but it's almost like that energy. So if you have experience, for example, from the past or currently with SSRIs, that is a perfect description of what happens when you're not sad anymore, you don't have depression anymore, but at the same time, I had a period when I was taking it, I went to an amusement park, and I was on roller coasters, and I was like just sitting there like super bored, I'll actually put an image here of what that looked like, not me, but this is from a series. So I was just like super, super bored in that experience. And that is kind of the feeling that I'm sensing here. And it might just be temporary. So don't judge yourself too hard for not feeling a lot right now, because that's not a flaw, that neutrality, okay? And it's just feedback. It's a feedback for something here. So we're going to start finding out what that is with question 2. And that is, what emotional weight or theme has the struggle been carrying for you? And we've got the King of Wands, very different energy. Wow. So it is tied to responsibility, okay? And this is a king, so it's also about, so it's direction. It's a direction energy. So leadership, right? Vision, just like pressure, could be that too, or like pressure to keep things moving forward, and that like expectation that you have on yourself to do so. So you might have been carrying a feeling that you need to know where you're going, right? Even with the motivation here, feeling really low, and that's kind of what you're bothered by, that you don't really know, you're not sure which direction to take, because nothing really is sparking you right now. Okay, so that is creating this tension here between this disengagement energy and also like the outer expectation and inner expectation too that you have on yourself and where you should be. So there's that, you know. And it's just like, I feel like it's a very strong self-expectation energy that you have with yourself here. So you're kind of forcing it, is what I'm sensing. Like you're forcing yourself to feel inspired, and you're forcing yourself to feel like decisive, you know, even when you're here right now, you know, and it's just kind of like you're supposed to be there. It's almost like a hangman energy, I'm sensing, where like there is a purpose to this pause, as I always say. Like you're supposed to be there because there's something here that you need to pick up on, or just like energetically integrate, so that you can, you will know when to step out of this, when to come out of this. You will feel it again. You will feel again, okay? This is not forever. But just that momentarily, like the distractions around you might be pulling you too much if you wouldn't be in that state. And you need to be in that state in order to just sit in quiet and silence and just integrate something here and learn a lesson about something here. So we're going to know what that is, by the way, with another question that we have here coming up. But yeah, like in general, it's just a struggle that it's the weight of needing to lead yourself forward, okay? And when your inspiration dips, I feel that responsibility can feel really heavy, right? Instead of feeling like empowering, for example, like you feel like you're supposed to be like over there when right now that's not realistic. So yeah, there's that. And for question 3, we have, what is the struggle asking you to confront or acknowledge? Judgment. See, so that is an awakening card. See, so there is something here that you're going to be learning through this little pause here that you're in. And this is a truth card, so it is a truth about where you are now, where this is awareness, right? And again, this is connected to being in this state of reflection and just going within, so that you can have an honest look at your past choices without punishing yourself, right? And just judging yourself. So you might be reaching a moment here when you can't just ignore what needs to change about something in your life, right? And it doesn't mean that you're wrong or that you did something wrong necessarily, right? But it's going to mean that you have some more clarity about something. It's going to just arrive to you, and it's necessary for you to be in that state for it to do so. So just acknowledge what needs to be released, right? Acknowledge what needs to be renewed within you, where you can upgrade yourself, what's waiting there, right? And I feel that avoiding this, right, avoiding this awareness here is going to keep you like very stalled for a longer period of time here. So just be very honest with yourself and just allow yourself to see the situation more clearly, and that's going to allow this movement to start again, even if it feels very uncomfortable here at first in this state. So yeah, there's that. That is the advice here. And for question 4 is, what part of yourself has been suppressed or overlooked through this experience? 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's patience, okay? So there is a part of you that really knows how to wait, first of all, with that one. You do know how to do that. You do know how to grow something slowly here. But also, you might have before have like pushed yourself to decide or to act without being really ready to do so, more impulsive in a sense. And in doing so, this other part of yourself that really understands timing and just like natural development, right? It just didn't get enough space. So I feel that your ability to just trust the process has been a little bit sidelined here lately. So instead of just honoring gradual things or gradual processes to happen as they do, right, in their divine timing, you're kind of measuring yourself against yourself in other situations or any sort of unrealistic expectations that you have. So the struggle is pointing back to your own capacity for that long-term vision. And I feel like allowing yourself a little bit more time to be here is going to be the thing that is alignment to you right now, okay? So it's not that you're procrastinating, or you're avoiding, or you're boring, you know, everything is boring, you shouldn't be this way, what's wrong with you? It's like none of that judgmental, negative self-talk, okay? That is actually alignment right now in this current moment. So again, just make sure to shift that mentality, or like shift that outlook or viewpoint that you have on yourself for being here, okay? This is just a rest state. And for question 5, we have, what opportunity is forming beneath the surface of the struggle? King of Swords. Very connected to judgment here, so it's truth. So yeah, there is an opportunity here for more self-leadership, okay? So I feel like with the King of Swords, I don't have the King of Wands there too. So it is definitely about boundaries. It's about decision making, right? Without feeling that things are foggy or things are not clear. You're unsure. You're not really like, which way should I go? You're feeling weak within yourself in making those decisions, you know, and taking charge. That is what's being developed, right? It's that ability to be more like clear mentally in order to do so. Like just make better and clearer decisions for yourself, and just learning how to separate what you feel from what you know, okay? And that's the thing, and just name things honestly, right? And just recognizing what doesn't work, and just communicate to yourself without self-judgment. It's all about that. So just take charge. That's the thing with the kings, right? Take charge. Take charge of your own narrative. Take charge of the way that you think, right? And as this disengagement energy starts to fade, because again, it will, then this is going to step in, like this clear thinking, right? And that's going to really guide you forward in your next, like in your next chapter, in your next move. So this is coming up, but this is going to have to work first. Like it's going to have to be released, right? We're going to have to learn some things, integrate some things, and this is the reward here. And let's move on to question 6, and that is, how is the struggle reshaping you in ways you'll later be grateful for? 8 of Swords. Yeah, it's limitation energy. So that is a restrictive energy, right? It's being stuck. So it's like being stuck by something that is a mental cage, right? It's not a real restriction, first of all. So that is very clear here. But also the moment when you start to just see that these limits aren't fixed, right? And they're not as fixed as they used to feel before. So right now, I feel like you're sensing that you're very boxed in, right? And again, it's the expectations, it's the narratives that you have internally, and you know, all of that is going on for you. And I feel like what you're later going to be grateful for is this awareness of how much power those narratives had over you, and that you don't have that anymore. You can compare it to like your future self to your present self, and that and that time is going to be your past self. And you're just going to know through the contrast experience, like, wow, I can't believe I was living through that for such a long time. And like, it's just so nice to be out of that. And I feel also, I'm hearing that, like, I can't believe how easy that was to just get rid of. It was just a shift that needed to happen, and now it's cleared. So you're going to be like, oh, that was crazy, man. Like, that was such a big shift. And now I'm like in a completely different place today from what I was back then. So it's all about recognizing how much your constraints are self-imposed. And once you see those constraints as self-imposed, they're going to lose their authority over you. So you're going to be doing lots of like hindsight work here where, yeah, like this phase is going to become the moment where your thinking just changes entirely, right? And you just realize that your freedom started internally for you. It's not external. It's not about the external. It's going to happen within. And that's what's going to happen here. And that's why you're going to feel so empowered, because that's how you know that you took charge of the situation. So let's move on to question 7, and that is, what new strength or self-trust is being developed right now? 9 of Wands there. So yeah, endurance. It's endurance energy, right? So that is resilience, and that is from staying present even when things are hard, right? Even when you're tired and stuff like that. You know, you feel like giving up, you feel like there's no way out. Like you're feeling worn down, that's the thing, but you haven't given up, okay? So I feel like it's about knowing that you can stay with yourself through this difficulty and that you will make it through this, okay? So you are learning that, and you are learning how to protect your energy while still moving forward, okay? And I feel that that balance is going to be the thing that builds trust in your own ability to persevere without abandoning yourself. It's that you're protecting your energy. And that's going to also lead to that self-trust starting to form here from your experiences. And you're going to realize that even when things felt really heavy, like you could still hold your ground. And that means that if they do feel heavy in the future, you can do that. You know how to do that. You've done it before, you know? It's cool. Like, you've upgraded, and now you know the lesson. You learn the lesson, you know how to use that in the future. You have a new little tool in your toolkit. So it's that, and that's how you're going to be feeling proud of yourself. And for question 8, we have, how can you consciously work with this opportunity instead of resisting it? 9 of Cups. Great. That's great. That's good to see there. Yeah. That's emotional fulfillment, okay? So, yeah, just take your own satisfaction seriously instead of just treating it as something that is optional, okay? And I'm not saying this, like, it doesn't mean something like you have to be constantly happy. You can never be in the 4 of Cups, because, again, there's nothing wrong with being in the 4 of Cups. But just notice what actually feels nourishing to you, right? What's uplifting to you, okay? And just allow that to matter in your decisions as well. I feel that resisting this opportunity would look like delaying something that you like, that you find that would give you pleasure, would give you excitement, okay? So something like resting, for example, you know, because I feel like you need to do that with 9-1. So you could be like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I can't do that right now, you know, even though it would be nice, it would be really nice, but yeah, as long as it's not an investment, I'm not going to do it. But it is an investment, you know, otherwise your soul wouldn't be wanting you to rest, right? So even if it's not productive, there's still a purpose to that. And that is because that is a part of your healing process, right? That is the reward. So you're going to get that in the end. So just honor your needs, you know? You don't have to justify that. You don't have to understand that from a physical or like a capitalist lens, you know, like, this is not making me money, so I can't do that. I can't invest time in that. Like, it's taking up my energy, but it's not going to be productive. It's not going to result in something that, you know, is something that I can be feeling safe in the future, financially or otherwise. But sometimes, yeah, something just like putting on a sheet mask, you know, and just laying in bed and reading a book can be really rewarding for you. And it doesn't have to be a book that you're reading just because you're studying something, because that's productivity too. It can just be like something that is a little bit more fun, you know, more just like, this is a time that I'm taking for myself, because I find that it's nice to do so, and that is okay, and I allow myself to, okay? And I feel that letting yourself want what you want is going to really help you break the cycle of this disengagement here, and it's going to restore your motivation again, because you're going to find life fun again, because you're allowing yourself to do fun things. So it's all connected here. So let's move on to your oracle message to tie this all together. We have here, taking care of myself is a radical act of love. See, so here's your little sheet mask mantra for you to wear. I mean, it's hard to wear this card. You can wear the sheet mask while monitoring this card to the mirror, for example. So if you want to take a little screenshot of that and just use that as a day-to-day little motivation for yourself, reminder to yourself, okay? That self-care is necessary. It is a necessity, right? It's not an indulgence. It's not something that you don't deserve, you know? It's not silly. It's not something that's a waste of time, okay? And I feel like that's what's, yeah, it's your entire reading is about this, you know, where I feel like your whole struggle is shaped by really like long periods of just self-discipline and just responsibility energy, right? So that's why you're feeling like you have so much endurance, because that's what your life is all about, even at the cost of your own needs, basically. So this is just reminding you that tending to yourself isn't something that you do after everything else is handled, like the last, you know, stop in the road, you know, or like a dessert. It's not a dessert, you know, sometimes it's the main course. So that's fine, okay? So that's all I have for you today, guys. And if you like this reading, if it resonated with you and you feel like this is yours, then you can claim it in the comments, or if you like the video, that would be amazing. It always helps the algorithm, you know, find the right people to show this to, so that more people can find my channel. And I do post these weekly, so if you want to check out another reading at another time, or an older reading, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. It always makes me super happy, and I'll see you guys in your next reading. Bye!